One day, a donkey fell into a well, and the farmer couldn't get him out. So he knew he had to cover him up. He called in his neighbors, and they all started to throw dirt down the well. But instead of burying the animal, the donkey would shake the dirt off and take a step up. Pretty soon, the pile of dirt got so high that the donkey stepped over the edge of the well. Moralists use this story to preach that all the troubles can be stepping stones, but they shouldn't give up. Instead, shake it off and take a step up. Comedians, however, note that as soon as the disdained donkey got to the top, he ran over and bit the farmer. Their moral is that something goes wrong, try to cover your ass, otherwise it can come back and bite you. Nobody can teach you humor writing. The secret is passing on from one generation to another, and I will not tell you mine, except to my son, as per Art Boulward. I always start writing with a clean piece of paper and a dirty mind. Dennis Patrick. Your mobile phone has more computing power than all the NASA in 1969. NASA launched a man to the moon. We launch a bird into pig. George Bray. People say to me, Tommy, where do you get your material? I wake up. Tommy Pescatelli. Imagination is intelligence having fun. George Scalabi. Comedian speaks. Humors listen. Ravi Salveyu. I knew that I want to do comedy when I discover irony. For those of you who don't know, I actually discovered irony when I was 7, which is when my mom started beating me with my own trophies. Morgan Murphy. Humorists can never start to take themselves seriously. It's literally suicide. Emma Bombach. I knew comedy was for me when I was only Asian in the high school who failed math. Then far. Be careful about reading health book. You may die of misprint. Honesty is the best policy when there is money in it. The only difference between a taxman and a taxidermologist is that taxidermologists leave the skin. The wit makes fun of other people, and satirist makes fun of the world. The humorist makes fun of themselves. James Thumber. If you can't joke them, beat them. Mort Salt. If you can't beat them, arrange to have them beaten. George Carlin. Doing research on the web is like using library. Assemble piecemeal by pack rats and vandalize nightly. Roger Albert. Everything is funny as long as it's happening to somebody else. Will Rogers. Plagiarism is the highest form of art, just as the theft is the highest form of commerce. Simon Munnery. Comedy is a tragedy plus time. Carl Burnett. Comedy is a tragedy that happens to other people. Angela Cartel. Life is tragedy when it's seen in close-up, but a comedy as long as shot. Charlie Chaplin. Life is tragedy when seen in close-up, but a comedy is in the long shot. Charlie Chaplin. Quotes are for dumb people who can't think of something intelligent to say on their own. Bo Burnham. Comedy is very controlling. You are making people laugh. If it's there in the phrase, make people laugh. You feel completely in control when you hear a wave of laughter coming back at you that you have caused. Gilder Render. When we laugh, we temporarily give ourselves over to the person who makes us laugh. Robert Alburn. There is a thin line that separates laughter and pain, comedy and tragedy, humor and hurt. Elma Bombach. In one issue at least, men and women agree. They both distrust women. H.L. Melchan. I don't want to gain immortality by my humor. I want to gain immortality. It's by not dying. Woody Allen. I don't want to gain immortality by my humor. I want to gain immortality by not dying. Dad always thought laughter was the best medicine, which I guess is why several of us died of the tuberculosis. Jack Hurday. Humor results when societies say you can't stretch certain things in public, but they each in public. Tom Walls. Any woman who has had the job I have had and didn't have a sense of humor wouldn't still be here. Harry Truman. If I had no sense of humor, I would long ago have committed suicide. Mahatma Gandhi. He who laughs last. Mary Paul Pottibone. Humor is another defense against the universe. Mel Brooks. A professional writer is a mater who didn't quit. Richard Bosch. I look in the mirror and say, I'm not the strapping young Muslim socialist that I used to be. I remember when BuzzFeed was something I didn't do in college in 2 a.m. And that's the Barack Obama's writer wrote. It's not that I'm afraid of dying, I just don't want to be there when it happens. Woody Allen. Former girlfriend remembers Bill Gates as having bad breath. He remembers her as not having 100 billion. Conan O'Brien. Comedy is a tough job, man. I have got friends who got cool jobs. One of my friends, he is porn star. Я записываю видео, как я про всякие шутки на английском. Видишь, я видео записываю. Вот мой микрофон, видео. Comedy is a tough job. I have got friends who got cool jobs. One of my friends, he is a porn star. Guess who he have discovered? That girl sat on his lap and she was like, oh, you should go porno. Same girl sat on the lap and was like, oh, you should tell jokes. Honey Rowling. Never laugh at your significant other when you're having an orgasm. There is a time to shine. Ilse Schlesinger. Anything can be comic and anything can be tragic. There is a big point right there. I don't think anybody in the room thinks it's funny when the child is defecated by the airbag. But wouldn't be a little bit funny if for 14 minutes before that the kid was going, Mommy, Mommy, I want a balloon. Get me a balloon. Mommy, I want a balloon. K.R. Anderson. Comedy can be especially in the writer's room. Really aggressive, kind of very male-dominated room. And it would be hard for women. It's not a nurturing place. It's not like a lot of women are going to say, I can't wait to live that lifestyle and be in the writer's room until 2 or 3 a.m. Ellen DeGeneres. I'll probably like 160 pounds right now. And I can catch a dick whenever I want. I get a label of sex comic. But if the guy got up on a stage and pulled his dick out, and everybody would say, he's a thinker. Comedians are never really on vacation because you're always at attention. The antenna is always out there. Bob Newhart. I sit at my hotel at night and I think of something that's funny. Then I get up and a pen and write it down. If the pen is too far away, I have to convince myself that what I was thinking is unfunny. Mitchell Helbert. Somebody once said that laughter is the best medicine. That was clearly written by a man that had never tried Vicodin. Wayne Federman. A day without laughter is a day wasted. Charlie Chaplin. So much remains to be done that the student of humor has a real opportunity to make sufficient contributions to the world. Jeffrey Goldstein and Paul McGee. I think I did pretty well considering I start out with nothing but a bunch of blank paper. Steve Martin. Analyzing humor is like scenting the frog. They both die in the process. E.B. White. A wonderful thing about true laughter is that it just destroys any kind of system in dividing people. Joe Clue. If I ever commit suicide, I'll be going to fly myself off the top of the skyscraper. But before I do, I'm going to suffer my pockets with candy and gum. That way, when the on looks towards up, they can go, oh man, he really must have been hey, Snickers, Patty Oswalt.
Ты мне классного робота купил.
Как? Покажи.
Вот, видишь?
А, почему квадратик получается?
Да.
Он узнает тебя, камера тебя увидит, и она делает квадратик, когда он тебя лицо видит. Поэтому там получается квадратик. Analyzing humor is like descending the frog. They both die in the process. E.B. White. A wonderful thing about true laughter is that it just destroys any kind of system in dividing people. John Clue. Even if I commit suicide, I'm going to flying myself off the top of skyscraper. But before I do, I'm going to stuff my pocket with a candy and gum. That way, when the onlookers wake up, they can go, oh man, he must really have been deep stinks. Two cannibals eating a clown. One say to another, does this taste funny to you? Tommy Cooper. In West Virginia, a man was arrested for stealing several blown-up dolls. Reportedly, police didn't have any trouble catching the man because he was completely out of breath. Conan Bryan. He was not able to sing, but he can dance. My wife and I have many arguments, but she only wins half of them. My mother-in-law wins the other half. Terry Bechtel. If you can't laugh at yourself, make fun of others. Bobby Slayton. He has a sort of face that makes you realize God does not have a sense of humor. Bill Bruson. President Obama was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. The committee say they gave it to Obama partly for his idealism and commitment to global cooperation, but mostly for calling for Kanye West an ass. Conan Bryan. I'm a wasp. a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, and actually lots of my people are going to really doing really well. Penelope Lombard. I've been to Canada, and I have always gotten the impression that I could take a country over in about 2 days. Jon Stewart. I have been to Canada, and I have always got an impression that I could take over the country over in 2 days. So I'm like holding up Slick. I thought McDonald's was supposed to have fast and friendly service. She's like, that's particularly McDonald's, and we are participating. We aren't participating. Retta. A congressman casually apologized to British Petroleum CEO for the way the company was treated. How stupid are you when you're the CEO of British Petroleum is in the room and people think you're the moron? Jay Leno. Latinos outnumbered black people now, and I'm not too happy about it because it's only a matter of time before we lose our months. Soon as they figure it out, they're going to have Latino History Months. All there is going to have is Chincha de Negro, Alonso Bodden. If you're black, you're gonna look at America a little bit different. You're gonna look at America like an uncle who paid you to go to college by molest you. Chris Rock. Some of you are afraid to laugh. I'm scared, Carlos. Don't be scared. God wants you to laugh. God has a sense of humor. And if you don't believe me, tomorrow go to McDonald's and just look at people. Carlos Mencia. Dogs laugh, but they laugh with their tails. That puts a man in the highest state of evolution. If it has to go, evolution is that you got his laugh in the right end. Max Einstein. Eastman. Max Eastman. А что? Didn't even occur to you? Did it even occur to you that whales that breach themselves to the Didn't even occur to you that whales that beach themselves are the retarded of the whale community? Joe Rogan. Laughter is an orgasm triggered by the intercourse, the sense and nonsense. From there to here, from here to there, funny things are everywhere. Dr. Zeus. It's real prime thing watching something get hurt, and it's funny and accessible. Johnny Knoxville. Incongruity is the mainspring of laughter. Max Beborn. They say that you should videotape your babysitter, but you don't want but I don't think you should involve your kids in the sting operation. Dave Chappelle. My daughter saw this billboard for this place. Swim with the dolphins, she said. I want to do that. I said, it's a lot of money, forget about it. She said, Dad, I always wanted to swim with the dolphins. Always or since you saw the sign? Robert Schimbel. My mother never saw an irony in calling me a son of a bitch. Richard Jenny. I don't stop eating when I'm full. The meal isn't over when I'm full. It's over when I hate myself. Louis C.K. Didn't you even wonder why we sing? Take me out of the ball game when we are already there. I heard blind people are complaining that seeing an eye dog is expensive, difficult to train, and hard to get. I say let them use midgets. They can use the work. Chris Rock. It's a sadistic but superiority. I learned about sex the hard way from books. Emma Phillips. My theory is that women don't suffer from penis envy. Every man just thinks his penis is inviolable. Maybe Freud suffers from penis doubt. Bob Smith. You young only once, but with the humor you can be immature forever. Al Glinner. Every man is damn fool for at least 5 minutes every day. Wisdom consists of exceeding the limits. Albert Hubbard. A couple of Jersey hunters are out in the woods. When one of them falls to the ground, he doesn't seem to be breathing. His eyes are rolling back in the head. The other guy whips out his cell phone and calls the emergency service. He gasps to the operator, "My friend is dead. What can I do?" The operator, in calm, smooth voice, "Just take it easy. I can help. First, let's make sure he's dead." There is a silence. Then the shot is heard. The guy's voice comes back online. He said, "Okay, now what?" Whenever I see an old lady slip to fall on the vat side, I first instinct to laugh. But then I think, what if I was an ant and she fell on me? Then I wouldn't seem quite so funny. Jack Harday. Humor is by far the most significant activity of the human brain. Edward de Bono. The only rules comedy can tolerate are those of taste, and the only limitations those of libel. James Thurber. What if you tell a joke in the forest and nobody laughs? Was it a joke? Steve Wright. Humor is a rubber word. It allows you to make a point without drawing a blood. Mary Hershish. If there is no corpse, there's usually no joke. Jay Sander. There is no trick to be humorous when you have the whole government working for you. Will Rogers. I hate phone solicitors. I'd rather get an obscene call, at least they work for themselves. Margaret Smith. Housework can kill you if done right. Emma Bumbeck. You know, Starbucks keep popping up all over the place and they don't have a slogan yet. So I thought of one for them. Let's say, if you guys like it. It's really expensive, but the line is long. Karen Bergent. I enjoy using the comedy techniques in self-depression, but I'm not very good at it. Arnold Brown. I plan to become so famous that drag queen will dress like me in the paradise when I'm dead. Laura Knightlight. Men, stop lying about your size. Just tell your ladies, I'll do the best I can. Then we'll make you when I'll take you shopping. Thea Vidale. I'm not a good lover, but at least I'm fast. Drew Carey. I once dated a guy who drank coffee and alcohol at the same time. What a price. What a prince. Bad breath, limp dick, and I wouldn't go to sleep. Chris Macara. You know you are gay when you bend over and see four balls. Gary Erling. A penis when you pull the underwear down, and it's like a drunk friend just falling out of the car. Joe Coy. You are the teeter of your family. Go ahead, strike a hit. I can't remember the last time I did that anyway. It's a shame your career can reach as high as your kicks. If you don't succeed, you run the risk of failure. What a waste it's to lose one mind and not to have a mind being very wasteful. How true is that? While campaigning in Florida this past weekend, Palin also plugged her upcoming reality show, Sarah Palin Alaska. If you haven't seen it, the entire show takes place in Palin rearview mirror. Seth Meyers. This week, Sarah Palin Memories became the bestseller. It's not even out yet. It's been translated in English. Bill Mahan. Every year, back in Ohio, we wouldn't have yard sale on Memorial Weekend. So it's like Mardi Gras for wild trash. John Caparuso. I moved from New York to Athens, Ohio. Talk about culture shock. From the city that never sleeps to the city that never wakes up. Mel Hilitsa. I hate when people ask me for the time on the street cause something happened to me. I just panic. I can't read my watch. When I'm alone, I'm great at reading my watch, but when somebody asks me, I just have this anxiety attack and I just can't make it out. I always end up saying something useless, like it's 20 of 9:40. Louis C.K. The Lincoln Memorial was vandalized last night. Somebody snuck in the Lincoln Memorial and threw green paint all over Lincoln. How was this even possible? I mean, 148 years later, this guy still can't get any security. Come on, David Letterman. Bisexuality immediately doubts your chances for the date on Saturday night. Woody Allen. Bisexuality immediately doubles your chances for the date on Saturday night. There is a good chance you may be an alcoholic. I think guys would be a little more excited about that. All they do is bitch and mourn. You drink too much, you sleep too much. It's like if you were drunk all the time, you'll be tired too. Chelsea Handler. I'm not addicted to cocaine. I just like the way it smells. Richard Perter. People always get mad at the dealers. It's not the dealer's fault, it's random luck that they deal with the cards for you. You know the guy was trying to be good. He's like, hey man, you get them next time. I just lost $2,000. I'm like, yeah, but I have a gun next time. I'll be there playing the new game. Rhonda Sheridan. Bogle with the sex addicts is up there with no go-kart racing with jugglers. Russell Brand. Comedy comes from conflict, from altered. Warren Mitchell. I look up the word politics in the dictionary. It's actually combining the two words poly, which means many, and ticks, which means bloodsuckers. Jay Leno. Believing in God is a lot like wearing clean underwear. You never know when you are going to be in the accident, but you better be prepared just in case. Eddie Ift. It turns out now that Bill Gates, he has tape recorders working in the Oval Office. They could get pretty good. They apparently were voice activated, just like his fly. These tapes are always available to everybody. There is 80 in the Clinton videotapes collection, and if you buy all 80, you throw in his sex video. Too hot for the Star Report. David Letterman. Somebody I want to be rich. Okay.
Папа, он хочет меня стрелять.
Someday I want to be rich. Some people get so rich they lose all respect of humanity. That's how rich I want to be. Rita Rudner. I love Mexico because it's a giant dollar store. This economy though is I don't understand that. When your money gets so valueless, at that point you do just sit down and go. You don't know what. We got to go back to the trading chickens again. That's just not working. Kathleen Madigan. A budget problems with the Medicare and NASA could be solved if this country began to firing the elderly into the space. Al Frankel. My Visa card was stolen 2 months ago, but I don't want to report it. The guy who took it is just less than my wife, Johnny Carson. My Visa card was stolen 2 months ago, but I don't want to report it. The guy who took it just using it less than my wife, Johnny Carson. My theory of homework is that if the items doesn't multiply, smell or catch on fire, or block the refrigerator door, let it be. No one cares. Why should you? Emma Bombach. Hey, guys, no fighting. Children are the most despicable opponents to stumble, as they both easy to beat and fun to cheat. Fran Libovitz. Mother's Day card. Mom, you're the greatest. At least that's what all the great guys in the construction site say. I look at the world in the realistic way. Some people say the glass is half full. The other people say the glass is half empty. I look at the glass and say, you know, if you fell on that would shatter, and the shards of glass would cut your jugular, and you don't throw down to death in the pool of young guzzling blood. Paul Provenza. They say such nice things about people at their funeral that it makes me sad that I'm going to miss mine by a few days. Harrison Kaler. I'm afraid at my computer. I know that I turn off and it learned new things about me. Elvira Kurt. I hate you, Google. You have caused a lot of problems in my relationship. I share a computer with my girlfriend. She'll look up anything. I'm going to look up apples today. She said it's an A. It's like Asian ass porn. Instantly. Google likes. I'll take it from here. I know exactly what you're looking at. Anything you hit A is Asian ass porn. Google, all I ask is you let her type 3 letters before you come to such a blunt conclusion. Bold conclusion. Daniel Tosh. I'm not interested in watching TV on my phone. In the same way, I don't want to take a shit in my own oven. Mark Watson. AT&T runs my last relationships because I don't get bad reception. My girlfriend would yell at me for it. Hello, I can't hear you. What? Why don't you call me back when you get a better signal? I was so scared of her. I would apologize. I'm sorry, honey. I shouldn't have been standing so far away from the satellite. I'll try to get those coordinates from CIA so I can cater to your every ridiculous request. Tim Young. They asked John Glenn what he thought about his first capsule was shot into space, and he said, I look around me and suddenly realize everything that has been built in the lowest bidder. Sophisticated people have retirement plans. Rednecks, on the other hand, play the lottery. That's our plan. And when we hit the six, we're going to add room to the trailer so we don't have to sleep with the grandpa anymore. Jeff Foxworthy. You don't know how the Amish hunt. They sneak up on the deer and build a barn around it. Tim Bedora. It's time that African American and Korean American pull aside their differences and focus on what's really important. Hate white people. Margaret Cho. Soon, four out of the last 8 governors of Illinois will have end up in the jail. That's 50%. If you grew up in South Central LA, you can say that half of you can say to have one of the 3 chances of ending up in prison. That's less than if you become a governor of Illinois. John Oliver. If you never want to kill your mate, you've never been in love. If you have never held a box of rat poison in your hand and started it for the good while, you've never been in love. Chris Rock. If the world is normal, and then how come the hot dogs come in packages of 10 and hot dogs burn come in packages of 8? Robert Wolf. To entertain some people, all you have to do is listen. But there is nothing quite so annoying as having someone go on talking when you're interrupting. Robert Olburn. A grandmother was babysitting her 4-year-old granddaughter. They both have had hazel eyes, so the grandmother proudly asked Debbie, "Do you know where your eyes came from?" And the child thought for a moment and answered, "Yes, Grandma, they came with my hat." A priest in New York was arrested on gun possession. These days you better be happy that the bundle in his pocket is 38, David Letterman. I saw this today in the window of Victoria's Secret. A camouflage phone. On what the battlefield you're going to find it's necessary to disguise yourself as shrubbery as the great ass. Bill Santiago. Humor is tragedy plus time. Mark Twain. Humor is tragedy plus time. Mark Twain. Humor is emotional house remembered in tranquility, James Thunder. To truly laugh, you must be able to take your pain and play with it. Charlie Chaplin. An elderly truck driver was eating lunch in a roadside diner when three shaggy young hoodlums sporting black leather jackets gauchely covered with swastika and skulls and crossbones parked their motorcycles and came inside. They spotted the truck driver and proceeded to talk him. Taking his foot away, pushing him off the seat and insulting his old age. He said nothing, but finally got up from the floor, paid his bill and walked out. One of the bikers, unhappy that they hadn't provoked a fight, said to the waiters, "Boy, he wasn't much a man, was he?" "No," said the waiter. "Look at the window. He's not much of a truck driver either. He just backed his truck over three motorcycles." Two-word joke. Word shortage. If you aren't offended, grown up. Jimmy Carr. A state of Vermont reporting an increase of numbers of nudists, which explains the popularity of Ben & Jerry newest flavor, Saggy Pecans. Conan O'Brien. I thought about becoming a lesbian. Those bitches look like they having a hell of a time, don't they? But then you gotta get to the whole lesbian scene, and you know and go buy hiking boots and truck, and then you pay. Who pays for that shit? For the shit? I guess the guy who is watching. But what's if he's not there? Chelsea Handler. I told a chemistry joke, but there was no reaction. A quick way to a man's heart is through his chest. Rosalind Barr. They don't get the philosophy jokes in Alabama. They think the skirts is the thing they pull before the horse. 57 years in the business, you learn a few things. You know what makes the audience laugh. You know.
Я просто так не натолкаю.
Не толкайся, пожалуйста.
Я не толкаюсь.
Neil Simon wrote 57 years in the
Когда
business.
ты перестанешь?
You learn a few things. Да. You know what makes the audience laugh. You know what words are funny and which words are not necessarily funny. Alka-Seltzer is funny. You say Alka-Seltzer and you get a laugh. Words with a K in them are funny. Casey Stengel, that's the funny name. Robert Taylor is not funny. Cupcake is funny. Tomato is not funny. Cookie is funny. Cucumber is funny. Car keys, Cleveland. Cleveland is funny. Maryland is not funny. Then there is a chicken. Chicken is funny. Pickle is funny. Ever wonder if illiterate people get the full effect of alphabet soup? John Mendoza. Daddy, what's a pronoun? You don't know noun that gets paid? That's a synonym. Synonym. A barn. What's a homonym? A gay num. Rich walk. Donald Trump said his daughter Tiffany after his favorite store, Tiffany's. How ridiculous is that? In fact, that I just talk about that with my two sons, Crate and Barrel. Sharon Dion. America, the smallest town and the biggest the people. Stuart Francis. The surveys say the people from New Jersey are sick and tired of being asked about TV show Jersey Shore. They wouldn't rather go back to the old Jersey saying, "What's a horrible smell?" Jay Leno. I hate false advertising like Skitters taste the rainbow. No, once even been there. Rainbow, right, you guys? And what's a Reese? There is no wrong way to eat Reese. Or really? Tell that to my uncle who used to put them in my underwear. Alright, maybe your uncle didn't love you. Amy Schumer. I got a rental car and they gave me the Daewoo. Daewoo, that's Korean for just walk. Karen Tokwi. Raccoons have much self-confidence. Look as they dressed. That's the way too much for the forest. Big fur jumpsuit and the black driving gloves and a striped tail. Little sunglasses. Come on, raccoons, what are you trying to prove, man? Tony Woods. I flew out here on the Southern Western Airlines. So Western has a plane that's planted like Shumu, the whale from SeaWorld. Yeah, that's all to be easy to find if that's went down in the ocean. That will be nice. When are you trying to get out? A really whale humping your window? Robert Schummel. I come from a very old family, 9 parents. I came from very large family, 9 parents. Jim Gaffner. What does the word meteorologist mean in English? It means liar. Life is black. Irvin made a lot of money one year in the government business and decides to buy a racehorse. One day he brought all his friends to the stable and the vet was laboriously working on the horse. "Is my horse sick?" asked Irvin. "She's not the picture of health," said the vet, "but I'll pull her through." "Will I even be able to race her?" "Chances you will, and you will probably beat her too." Myron Cohen. A Sewer tribe sends one of his brightest men to engineering school. After graduating, he returns home and was immediately assigned to install electric lights in the lampretts, so he became famous for being the first Indian to wear a hat for reservations. We call our maid a commercial cleaner because she cleans only during commercials. Mark after bombing the sexual joke. "Boy, I'm going to get it when it gets home. And maybe I'm not going to get it when I get home." "Isn't it great to be in June?" "Yes, but her sister Barbara been there." Zaza Gabor appeared as a guest while holding one of his prizes, Fatalis, and she was sitting there. She suddenly turned to Johnny Carson and asked, "Would you like to pet my pussy?" "Sure, the Carson, but first move the cat." You wouldn't have won if we had. Johnny Beggar. Okay, if people don't want to come to a ballpark, nobody can stop them. Casey Stengel. The restaurant is so popular nobody goes there anymore. Yogi Berra. It will take time to restore house and order. They underestimated me. Rarely is the question asked, is the children learning?
Papa.
I work in the Target, but I missed Mitch Halbert. Don't pull all the eggs in one basket. You can have your cake and eat it too. There is no such thing as stupid question. I have heard the dog's a man's best friend. They'll explain where men are getting their hygiene strips. Kelly McGuire. When life gets you down, makes a comfort. Bo Burnham. My wife, she told me I was one in a million. I found out that she was right. Rodney Dangerfield. I ordered a wake-up call the other day. The phone rang and the woman's voice said, "And there is a hell are you going to do with your life?" Demetri Martin. I was trying to get back to my original weight, 7 pounds and 3 ounces. Cheryl Vandelli. I can't smell mothballs because they are so difficult to get their little legs apart. Stephen Martin. Barrett woman sounds delicious. Doesn't make it right. BJ Novak. A 6-year-old asked his mother, "Ma, tell me the truth. Where did I come from?" A frustrated mother thought, "Must I really start explaining the details of sexual reproduction already?" So she asked, "Tell me, Debbie, why do you want to know?" And Debbie said, "Because the kid next door said he came from Detroit. I want to know where I come from." I bet you can have capitals of all 50 states in less than 30 seconds. Impossible. That's a bet, really. Set, go. Okay, the capitals of all 50 states in less than 30 seconds. I said it. You lose. I went to a bookstore and asked the saleswoman where's the self-help station was. She was, if I told me it would defeat the purpose. Dennis Miller. I was very lucky I married the one. On the scale of 1 to 10, he was the one. Mary Borker. I constipated and I couldn't get the shit. Bo Burden. How come my book free verse cost $12? Last night I had sex with my old girlfriend. Not my girlfriend, my old girlfriend. She's 72, 73 and something like that. Then not mine. Okay. I slept like a log last night. I woke up in the fireplace. I slept like a log last night. I woke up in the fireplace. Tommy Cooper. When I got divorced, I missed my husband, but I'm getting to be better shot. Shayla Kay. I was Iranian born. Can't really tell. Although whenever I leave a house, I go out through the window. Stephen Wright. I like a girl with a head on her shoulders, no neck. I like a girl with a head on her shoulders because I hate necks. Steve Martin. I majored in nursing. I had to drop it. I ran out of milk. Judy Tenuta. I was at the barn nursing beer. My nipple was getting quite soggy. Emma Phillips. Swimming is good for you, especially if you're drowning. Jimmy Carr. My grandfather was poor. People threw small animals at him, telling he sophisticated. Alan Hornham. I learned something in college. I was really kind of my own. I had a double major, psychology and reverse psychology. BJ Novak. I was thrown out of college for cheating on the metaphysics exam. I looked into the soul of another boy, Woody Allen. Like most comics, I just broke up with my girlfriend, and the reason we broke up is I caught her lying under another man. Doug Benson. My career advisor told me that I have never got anything started into space all the time. I had the last laugh when I got the job as astronomer, Tony Covert. I used to be indecisive, but now I'm not quite sure. Tony Cooper. I bought a product for erection dysfunction, and the box said Cialis. I have been looking for her for the last 3 months. It wasn't my fault, it was our fault. My mother makes our family eat so much salad. I wish she'll let her alone. Let me look for my. Hello. Testing. Okay, some more comedy. I bought a product for erection dysfunction and the box said Cialis. I've been looking for her for the last 6 months. It wasn't my fault, it was fault. My mother makes our family eat so much salad. I wish she let us two alone. I shot an elephant in my pajamas. How he got into my pajamas, I never know how. Garner Marx. 100 years from now, the word of old masters will be thrown in the past. The A Groove Date. Store sign. Big sale last week. Why are they telling me this? I already missed it. Yakov Smirnov. How young man can die of old age. I have a paper cut from my old writing my suicide note. It started. Curiosity kills the cat, but it's for a while I was a suspect. I got my pound of water, and now I don't know what's that to add. I think it's wrong the way one company makes the game Monopoly. I can read minds, but it's pointless because I'm illiterate. I have a vest. If I had my arms cut off, it would be jacket. Severed foot is ultimate stocking stuffer. When I was a boy, I lay on my twin-size bed and wondered where my brother was. An escalator can never break. It can only become stairs. If you heard this story before, you don't stop me, because I'd like to hear it again. Ben Kronberg. Cats have 9 lives, which means they ideally for experimentation. Jimmy Carr. An invisible man married an invisible woman. Their kids were nothing to look at either. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen, but I keep trying to tell them. Merlin McLaughlin. If there is all God children, what's so special about Jesus? Jimmy Carr. There will be a will. There is family fighting over it. Buzzy Nutley. It's easy to distract fat people. It's a piece of cake. Chris Addison. It's my wife dissatisfied with her body. A small part of me saying yes. Stuart Francis. I was on the toilet for so long. I finally said to myself, I'm getting too old for this shit. Drew Benson. I saw a clown down sit up. Funny how things work up. Russell Kane. I stuffed my bra So you get the second base with me. You'll find that's based on are loaded. Wendy Libman. A hooker was chasing the comedian down the street. A case of the tail dodging the bag. In Seattle, they have saying, if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes and then shoot yourself in the face. Doug Benson. If wasn't Venetian blind, it would be curtain for all of us. Eric Moore. A pin in the lowest form of humor, unless you think it's first. Oscar Levant. A construction worker discovered his wife in the backseat of the Honda Fiat making love to another guy. He got into his cement truck, drove up to the car and dumping the entire load of concrete all over it. Then he drove away thinking, the longer they go, the harder it gets. I looked up at my family tree and found 3 dogs using it. My father never liked me. For Christmas he gave me a bat. The next time I tried to play bat with it, it flew away. When I was a kid, my parents moved a lot, but I always found them. I went to a massage parlor. It was self-service. When I was born, the doctor said to my father, I'm sorry we didn't even thinking we could, but he could still pull through. If we're into pickpocketing, I have no sex life at all. My mother didn't breastfeed me. She said she just liked me as a friend. A face of a child say cannot at all, especially in the mouth part of the face. It takes a big man to cry, but it takes a big man to laugh at that man. I can picture in my mind the world without war, the world without hate, and I can picture us attacking the world because they are never expected. If a kick-ass rain come from, I think the cute things to tell him God is crying. And if he asks why God is crying, another cute thing to tell him, probably because something you did. Children never encounter so if the kid gets an answer right, tell him if it was lucky guess. That way he develops a good lucky feeling. If at first you don't succeed, quit at once. Stephen Leacock. At first you don't succeed, try again, then stop. There is no use being silly about it. George Burns. If at first you don't succeed, don't think it's a failure. Think of it as time releasing success. Robert Orban. I like my woman like I like my coffee. Tied up in the sack and throw on the back of the donkey by John Walden. Patton Oswald. I like my coffee like I like my man. Bitter and incapable of experiencing human emotions. Selena Kopok. I have always asked, I like my coffee like I like my man. I don't drink coffee. Alan DeGeneres. The two men, the answer to life problem at the bottom of the TV. Kids, you try your best and fail miserably. So the lesson is never try. How to wrestle out things is important to learn. That's what separates us from animals. Accept the vessel. Boy, are you free tonight? Girl, of course I have even charged. Have I ever charged you? My girlfriend was faithful to the end. Unfortunately, I was the quarterback. We never service a woman at the bar. I have to bring your own. Cleanness is the next gut roll. No, I look at the dictionary and the go-getters is the next to godliness. Defendant. Judge. The court awards your wife $200 a week for support. Defendant: gee, that's very nice of you, Judge. I think I'll throw in a few bucks myself. I say live and let live. I say live and let live. Anyone who can't accept that should be executed. George Carlson. And I hate it when my foot falls asleep during the day, because that means it's going to be up for night. Steve Wright. Mind wanders a lot, but fortunately it's too weak to go far. Bob Thever. I woke up one morning and my girlfriend asked me if I slept good. I said, no, I made a few mistakes. Steve Wright. If the truth is beauty, how come no one have her hair done by a library? Lily Tomlin. At the gym they have a few weights, so I took them. Steve Smith. Animals may be our friends, but they won't pick up at the airport. Bob Cart Gotswell. Bob Cart Gotswait. And Fool and Money were lucky to get together for the first place. Harry Anderson. Whenever it goes up, must come down, but don't expect it to come down where you can find it. Lily Tomlin. Honesty is the best policy, but insanity is the best defense. Steve Landersberg. The race isn't always to the shift, nor the battle to the strongest, but that's the way to bat. Damon Reinhold. The hands on my biologist clock are giving me a finger. Wendy Libman. If at first you don't succeed, find out if a loser gets anything. William Lyon Peltz. If at first you don't succeed, so much for skydiving. Harry Youngsman. If at first you don't succeed, you're running above average. M.H. Alderson. If at first you don't succeed, fellowship may be your style. Quinn Crisp. If at first you don't succeed, destroy all evidence that you tried. If at first you don't succeed, try to hide your astonishment. If at first you don't succeed, do it the way your wife told you. Okay, I finally just slept with my high school crush, but I swear not now he expects me to go to his graduation, like I know where I'm going to be in 3 years. Amy Schumer. Amy Schumer. I finally just slept with my high school crush, but I swear not he expects me to go to his graduation, like I know where I'm going to be in 3 years. I couldn't be waiting for success, so I went ahead and without it. Jonathan Winters. If size does not matter, how come my girlfriend's vibrator isn't 3 inches and crooked? Dov Stanhope. I have incompatibilities in lots of ways. Like, for example, I was a night person and he didn't like me. Wendy Libman. I'd like to have kids. I get those maternal feelings, like when I'm lying on the couch and I can't reach the remote control, or like, boy, a kid would be nice to have right now. Kathleen Madigan. My boyfriend and I broke up, even I thought that still deeply in love. He wants to get married and I didn't want him to. Rita Rudner. A man and a woman are made passionate love in the bedroom. Suddenly the apartment door opens and a man comes in and shouts, "Darling, I come home." He walks into the bedroom, see the naked couple and say, "What is she doing here?" I understand that the doctor has a spark and when I was born, but I really don't see any reason he has to call me a whore, Sarah Silverman. I understand the doctor has to spank me when I was born, but I really don't see any reason he had to call me the whore, Sarah Silverman. I recently started a pro-drug rally in my basement, Dave Cross. When I was young, I thought that money was the most important thing in life. Now that I'm old, I know it is. Oscar Wilde. I didn't attend the funeral, but I sent a nice letter saying I approve to it. Mark Twain. I know you had a drinking problem when a bartender knows your name and you've never been to that bar before. Zach Galifianakis. I love my children as much as anybody in here. I let them watch TV and stuff. When I let them out of the shed, Tia Vagala. I usually go to the best of live entertainment, but tonight we have to settle for. Is everything having a good time? Well, we'll put an end to that right now. I don't like country music, but I don't mean to denigrate those who do. And for the people who like country music, denigrate means put down. Bob Newland. I'm not being condescending. I'm too busy thinking about far more important things you wouldn't understand. Jimmy Carr. People say to me, "You're not very feminine." Well, they can put "just suck my dick." Rosie Barr. I sold my house this week. I got a good price for it, but it made my landlord mad as hell. Gary Shandling. I stay at one of the criminalist hotels in town. In the middle of the night, I called the desk clerk and said, "I've got to leak in the bathtub." He said, "Hey, you paid for the room. Go right ahead." When the old Sheridan Hotel was being renovated, they sold the ripped out of furniture. So I bought the 2 front doors in my house. After they were installed, I pawned them out to my friend. They came from the Sheraton Hotel. He was astonished. Most people just take soap and towels. I made killing in the stock market. My broker lost all my money, so I killed him. Jim Lloyd. First of all, I have a rule, and there it is. I never look at somebody's face while they're having sex. But because number one, what if I know the guy, Laura Kneidling? A lot of people are wearing t-shirts with the pictures of people that inspire them to do stuff. I wear a picture of my son because no one inspires me to work harder than my son, and also a constant reminder to wear a condom. Joe Coy. Sorry to hear your wife run away from with your gardener. Oh, that's all right. I was going to fire him anyway. After 2 drinks, my wife turned into the screaming bitch. After 5 drinks, I passed out completely. One day, I was playing. I was about 7 years old, and I saw this cellar door open just crack. Now my folks had always warned me, Emma, whether you do or you don't near the cellar door, but I had to see what's the other side if it kills me. So I went to the cellar door, pushed it open and walked through. I saw strange, wondering things I had never seen before, like trees, grass, flower, and sun. That was nice. Condoms are always safe. A friend of mine was wearing one, and I finally had a dental plan, and I had the best day ever. I ran into my ex-boyfriend and his new girlfriend with my car, Karen Anderson. I hate to travel. I guess it's because my father used to beat me with a globe. Dave Attell. I was driving like a maniac and get here on time. I took the wrong turn and I see the sign that say caution, small children playing. So I slow down. Then it occurred to me, I'm not afraid of small children. Jonathan,
Иди посмотри, какой.
я вижу I'm so in love with my boyfriend right now. Everything is perfect, but we totally want different things in bed. Like he always turns the lights on, and you know what I'm saying? And I shut them off, and he turns them on. And the other day, he's like, Amy, why you're so shy? You know, you have a beautiful body. I was like, oh my God, you're so cute. I think I don't want you to see me. Amy shimmered. A man was driving on narrow mountain road, and he almost collided with a car that wonderfully carried us around the blind curve. You stupid fool, he shot at the other driver. The other driver came to a deep stop. The woman rolled down the window, looked at the man and yelled, "Pig, pig, pig," and then quickly drove off. Furious at the inside, the man slammed his car into gear, rode around the mountain curve, and slammed ahead into the giant hog standing on the road. Two old men were watching a giant Dane licking his balls. One turned to the other and said, "All my life I wished that I could do that." The other one said, "Better pet him first. He looked like mean as hell, Billy Crystal." I'm a cheerful man, even in the dark, and it's like all things God Lutheran mother. When I was a boy, if I came around looking glum and paid, she'd say, "What's the matter? Did the dog pee on your cinnamon toast?" And the thought of our old black mud raising his hind leg and the past due dog and peeing on my toasted made me giggle. Keith Robinson. Pedophiles don't want to be called pedophiles. They want to be called priests. Keith Robinson. You go to the university and find out who you are. I went to university and found out I was prick. John Richardson. I don't know if I'm going to hell or heaven. I just hope God grades on a curve. Mike Duggan. You know what's the worst part about drinking is? When I'm drink, I know I slur. I know, like I say racial slur. Whoa, nobody likes that at the barbecue. Nothing goes even ever happened in the blackout. I never woke up and been like, what is the plights math going out? We had to break up though. He wanted different things, like he wanted kids and I wanted him to hear. He was really into family. I'd never come on the road with me on the weekend because he wanted to spend time with his wife. I donated blood today. That's what I call getting an AIDS test. My dad's dying wish was to have his family around him. I can't help thinking he would have been better off with more oxygen. Man thinks about sex every seconds. Man thinks about sex every 6 seconds, which I think makes talking to your dad very creepy. I wonder. I worry about my nan. If she isn't alone and full, does she makes a noise? I'm joking. She's dead. Jim Carr. My father's father always used to say, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." Till the accident. No matter how much you give to the homeless person for tea, you never get the tea. That tea. A Harvard Medical School study has determined that rectal thermometers are still the best way to tell baby's temperature. Senator Tom Coburn had introduced a new background check plan that would allow people to perform self-background checks before trying a gun. Supreme Court ruled the disability golfer Casey Martin has a legal right to hide a golf cart between shots in PGA Tour event. Disney had developed a new video game called Disney City Girl, which lets players shop and works on the way of a social letter. Last week, the city of Boston sparkled controversy when it named the giant sparkle tree in the Boston Common Ground tree instead of a Christmas tree. Firearms groups around the country have declared today the first annual gun anticipation day. Stock plunged against Friday, suffering their worst day since 2005, and their third straight triple-digit loss from the Dow Jones Industrial Average.